This is Spiritual Biz Chat with Kimberly Maska. Inspiration for spiritual entrepreneurs. Join our spiritual family at spiritualbizmagazine.com.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to Spiritual Biz Chat. I am Kimberly Maska, your host here for Spiritual Biz Magazine. And we have with us for our September cover, David Strickel. David is the author of The Stream, Eternal Wisdom for a Better Life. And he is actually in my mastery program as well. And he is the first book published by Maska Media Publishing. And he just got his bestseller status. And so I'm here to chat with David about his new book. David, welcome. How are you?
I'm very good, Kimberly. Thank you for having me. And I'll go ahead and immediately put the book up.
Fantastic.
For everyone to see. I think the cover designer did such a great idea. I can't help but just show it off all the time.
It actually is beautiful. Sometimes you see books and you make a little face, but that's actually a really beautiful cover, The Stream. So who's The Stream?
The Stream is a group of non-physical entities that I have been receiving communication from really my whole life. I tell this anecdote over and over again about when I was 14 years old and growing up in a very poor household with a very disconnected mother and an absent father. My brother and I kind of raised ourselves. This download of thought that was very detailed just came to me that if I mentally placed myself in any situation that I wanted to be in and really felt like I already had it, that it would come to me. And this was back in 1982 when I was 14, way before The Secret or any of this stuff was published. I just immediately knew it was true and I believed it. And it's hard to describe. This is how things work. And I remember telling my brother about it, who's 4 years older than me. And I remember him thinking, you're insane. What are you talking about? No, you work hard, you get an education. And he's still like that at 54 years old. So that's the first recollection. But I remember being 6 or 7. And my family, again, was very poor, and some friend of the family or something had this new Lincoln Continental, and they came over to show it off in our little crappy blue-collar neighborhood. And I remember looking at the car just thinking, I can have that. She can have that. I can have that too. So I remember that at a very early age, and it's just always been coming to me. And it's definitely carried me through a lot of obstacles in life. It's placed me in a lot of fantastic positions in life. I don't have a formal education, but I actually started my own business at 19. I ended up being a very successful corporate executive for a major company for several years. It's just always guided me, and it's always provided such enlightenment that when I decided that it was something that was too powerful, and I realized that it was something that was unique coming to me, at least in the way as detailed as it was, and the fact that I could share it the way that I was sharing it in my business, because I was using these ideas to train commissioned salespeople and business people how to be successful. And I had some of the biggest success stories in that company's 80-year history from the teachings and connecting with the right people. And I realized that this was too powerful and too meaningful not to share with the world. That was really my next chapter in life, was to share it. And so in thinking about how you share things like this, and of course I've always been very attracted to Abraham and Esther's, sharing of the Abraham message. And I realized that giving this an identity that people can identify with that's outside of me is very important in this process and sharing it. Because I think there are a lot of spiritual teachers who are indeed channeling, but it's just coming through them as them. But I think that the sharing is so much more powerful when the people that are receiving it understand the magnitude of it, and they set their intentions to receive something very divine and very special. That's when the very best information flows. So that's why I came up with the idea, and it just popped into my head, it might have been them, of calling it The Stream. The funny thing is that I called it The Stream, and one of the reasons that I didn't originally latch onto the Abraham material years ago when I was first told about it by a psychic who said, you have this ability, you need to go read Abraham, is it sounded biblical to me. And I was raised in the church, and I just thought, okay, I've already read all of that. I know I don't need to do this Abraham thing. And then 10 years later, it just smacked me on the head that Abraham was my path to my own ability to channel a very similar stream of information, but definitely with some variations that's tailored to the same audience in some cases and a very different audience. And I found that to be true. So naming it The Stream was just this kind of cool branding of this information that I'm getting.
Very cool. Yeah. And I love that because it shows that it is flowing and ultimately flows through all of us, which is really a beautiful way if we're just tapped in. And that's part of what you do, right? You're showing people how to connect with the streams. You're not just here to like give them the information, but how they can actually follow that path as well. Is that right?
A big part of our teachings is the stream or source. It's all positive, powerful source energy, and it's flowing to all creation at all times. We say it's like a Wi-Fi connection that's coming to you. We just shut it down with our doubt and our fear and our negative thoughts and our distraction with life and all of this stuff that we do as humans. And with all of this that we've manifested, we've also manifested more contrast, and that we, have found ways to sort of distract ourselves from this natural flow that's coming to all of us. So that's really what the stream is. I've been getting it detailed, and I've trained myself really to receive it and speak it and communicate it for the benefit of others. But one of the first things that we communicate is that it's coming to all of you. We're just going to guide you how to connect with this same energy flowing through.
Which is fantastic to know. I know Abraham kind of gives that same feeling as well. So do you think, and I'm always being really curious about this, that the stream is the same as Abraham, but it translates differently because it's coming through you? How do you see that?
So when I first got to the point where I was getting all of this information and I realized I was setting intention and getting thought, but when I really progressed to the point where I could have a conversation and get really detailed answers, that was one of the first things. I remember I used to sit in my car. I lived in a high-rise in downtown San Francisco, and I didn't want anyone to hear me speaking and channeling because in the beginning it was very awkward. And I know, Esther's voice has progressed over the years channeling Abraham, and mine was very bumpy in the beginning, until I kind of just relaxed into it. And one of the first questions I asked, sitting in the car with the tape recorder running on my phone, was, I used to call Esther, I still do, I call her the Beyonce of channeling because she's so good at it, She just comes out and it's just amazing and beautiful and wonderful and everyone connects. I said, she's so good at it. Why does the world need someone else to do this? And it was very clear that that message is tailored to a certain audience. And there's some crossover, but there's a whole other audience that hasn't discovered any of this yet that will connect with me. And I'm a different gender. And it's funny, I'm 20 years younger than Esther Hicks, almost to the day. I think our birthdays are just like 3 days apart or something like that. And, there's some generational differences there too. And I have had people say, I love Abraham, but for some reason, I just click more with this. There's a lot of people that do both. So you'll find the messages absolutely compatible. It is the same stream of consciousness that's coming through, but we've just taken it in a little different direction. We use different verbiage. We use different processes. It's always sort of a partnering between the channel and the message that's coming through. It's always being filtered in one way or another. And my intention is to filter it as purely as possible, not to influence it in any way. And I know that they have shared with me that one of the reasons that it flows through me so freely is that I don't have a lot of religious beliefs, and I haven't actually done a lot of studying of all of these branches of spirituality. Some, but not a ton. I have people in my course that have studied so many things, and they can talk about ascended masters and angels and spirit guides and all these different things and go really deep into all of that. And there's nothing wrong with any of that. Explore everything that you want to explore. But because I haven't, I'm more open to just communicating what comes through, and it's not being filtered much by me at all. I think the filter that comes through me is the high level of personal accountability because I live my life that way. And anyone that is attracted to my material, they have to be ready to take full responsibility for their lives and everything that's coming to them and everything that has ever come to them. But the upside of that, the huge upside of that, is that you then have the power to release anything that's happened in your life that limits you. And you have the power to create anything in your future that you want, because it's all on you. So that's very much a part of the stream's message.
Yeah, that 100% responsibility thing always gets us though, doesn't it?
It's hard to swallow sometimes, but once you do, you realize how powerful you truly are.
Yeah. So one thing I love in the book, you can hold the book up again, okay, so we can see it again. So this is again the stream, the eternal wisdom for a better life. What's really neat about the book is that you're telling your story and then the stream like comments on your story. So it's this back and forth, which is really a fantastic way to do it. And I also love that they also tap into questions that I know Abraham won't answer. So there's a lot of stuff in there that I think that people would find really interesting, because you go to places that I've never seen another channel go, which is really fun. How did that come about with the stream kind of commenting on your life?
Here's the book. I should just put a big poster of it back there.
There you go.
So I didn't want to just, it was very important to me not to just regurgitate what Esther is already sharing with Abraham, because it's out there, it's beautiful, it's wonderful. I mentioned in the book, I acknowledge her in the book for sure. But I really wanted to take it to a different place, because I really, really set the intention for people to understand, because once I understood the nature of positive and negative, that positive and negative always will be, and that polarity is tugging at us all the time, and polarity exists to give us contrast, because we come here to live contrast, to overcome obstacles. That's the whole point. And when you start to really, all of that starts to kind of fall into place, and you understand that, oh yeah, sometimes I'm positive and I'm up here, and sometimes no matter what I do, I'm down here and I'm negative and I'm disbelieving my dreams. Well, the stream shares with us that all that is by design, that we are designed to go down the spiral and manifest our contrast and cancel out some of our desires and have a mix, so that we don't just have these lives of steady perfection, because that would get boring. I always tell people, you think that, laying by the pool at the Four Seasons in Maui is a great existence. And, you do that for 2 or 3 days and it's wonderful. You do that for 2 or 3 months. We're too intelligent to do things like that. We've got to challenge ourselves. We've got to place obstacles. We've got to overcome them. That's what life is. And we grow from our obstacles. So taking that message and then really backing up to source perspective and understanding, and as you share, things like why the Holocaust occurred. As horrible as these things are, trust me, there's nothing that upsets me more than hearing stories of the Holocaust or things like that. But going to the source perspective and understanding it from an eternal point of view, where this life is temporary and not as delicate or not as precious as we think it is, as far as this is all you get and that's all there is, it helps you kind of wrap your head around that stuff a little bit more. And the way that serves us as human beings is that you can hear about things like that and hear about negative things happening, and certainly discern a preference for that not to happen, but it doesn't have to drag you down your spiral. Because when you go down into negative over reading about something, you're of no service to anyone, because you're down in negative. You're not creating anything positive down there. We have learned from the stream's teachings that going down into negative out of reverence for people who are experiencing great contrast does not help them in any way. That we need to be up, we need to be positive. All the solutions are up there. And that's what the stream's message is all about.
Yeah, and that's such an important message, because there's always this idea of like compassion, and you can be compassionate, but don't go down into that level. And so I love that. And if more people could manage that, I think we could really actually shift the vibration of the planet a bit quicker than we are. Speaking of those teachings, I know you have a course that you've created where you help people through that. So let's just chat a little bit about that. I believe it's an 8-week program that you have, right? That can get them through all of those little humps in life so they can create the abundance of what they're doing. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, our course is Abundance Breakthroughs. It's an 8-week program. And somebody asked me just the other day, because they were trying to decide, should I take the course or should I buy the book? And of course, my answer is both.
Of course.
But it's very different. The book is very enlightening and inspiring, and there's tools in here that can help you change your life. It is, it's called Eternal Wisdom for a Better Life. And it absolutely is that. And that's what books do for us. They help us grow. They give us new tools. They open our mind to new ideas. So that's what the book is all about. The course is very different, though. It is specifically tailored to the individual taking the course. So there is a specific strategy to help them overcome what we call their abundance blocks. And it's a process of really identifying the roots of your limiting beliefs. And a lot of teachers, a lot of people that teach the law of attraction, that was a kind of a gap that I saw happening out there, because until I figured this out from the stream's guidance, the law of attraction didn't fully click in for me. So most teachers that teach the law of attraction tell you to just get happy and to just place yourself mentally, as I have said, into this place, and everything's going to come to you. The problem is that there's certain areas in just about everyone's life that starts to experiment with the law of attraction that they believe they're blocked in. And they will say to me, I can manifest, good friends. I can manifest a good day. I can manifest a better mood. I can manifest, extra $50, but I can't manifest a business. I can't manifest this stream of income that is constant. I can't manifest a good relationship or health. The big things are where we tend to get blocked. And a lot of that is because we place so much pressure on them. But very often there are things that we're taught at a very young age that we need to release in order to move up the spiral on any of these topics and manifest successfully. I do a podcast also, and I did a podcast not long ago called Your Parents Were Supposed to Screw You Up. And it was
brilliant.
a message from the stream about generational differences and the fact that generational differences exist to deliver contrast to us. We choose the situation that we project into because we want contrast. And those of us that project into the very worst circumstances are the souls that are looking for the most expansion here on earth, even if their life is short, because they project themselves into genocide or starvation or whatever. But the generational differences are by design there to give us some contrast. So we're taught things that might have served our parents that don't necessarily serve us. They're sometimes very difficult to release. And in the course, we go through a very effective process of releasing and forgiving and even appreciating that stuff. We also learn all about the spiral, how to recognize when you're up and when you're down, how to get to the highest level on the spiral on demand, and how to manifest intentionally. And every single person that has come out of the course now, and I have their testimonial videos on my YouTube channel and in Facebook, they all report they manifested the things they wanted in the course, at least a taste of them. All of them manifested money in the course, which is nice. Because I always say, manifest the money to pay for it while you're in it, and it's free.
There you
and
go.
It works. It really does work. All of them now have come out, and we have a secret Facebook group just for alumni, and they're all in there together as a community. And after the 8-week program, it's not a situation where you just take the course and you're done. It's giving you tools to use for the rest of your life, to detune your transgressors, to move up the spiral in demand, to know the full extent of your source connection and understand how to see through the eyes of source. It gives you great perspective on your life and the universe and everything that's happening in the world.
Awesome. And so needed, and a beautiful way to get there so that we're in alignment with source and doing the things we're supposed to be creating, because we're supposed to be living in abundance. Scarcity is not how it's supposed to be. For all of you guys that watch me long enough, you know that is my main thing, that scarcity and poverty really is just a mental disease. And so David's here to show you how to flip that all around so that you can create your abundance. Well, thank you, David, for joining us. This has been fantastic and sharing your knowledge. Let everybody know about your podcast and where they can find the book. And by the way, congratulations on making it as a bestseller on the book, which is really a beautiful accomplishment. Also, let everyone know that David is the first publication coming through Maska Media Publishing. So this was a big event. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. And the book is available right now on Amazon. The ebook download is available on Amazon, and it has achieved bestseller status, and it was a #1 new release in spiritual self-help titles, which was very exciting. A lot of that is fueled by the podcast. The podcast is the Stream of David podcast, and it's available on iTunes. It's available on Spotify, and just about any place you get podcasts, you can watch or listen to the Stream of David podcast. It's a weekly podcast, and there's about 60 episodes in there by topic. And if you're just starting, you may want to go to the beginning and kind of go, it's chronological, and it kind of starts out in the beginning as sort of specific topic type stuff, and it gets a lot more complicated as it goes. So it gets more in depth as we go along. But anyway, has a big following. It's a global following on the podcast, which is very exciting. So the book is on Amazon. The podcast is anywhere that you can find a podcast. And my website is thestreamofdavid.com. And if you're interested in the course, you can email me at david@thestreamofdavid.com. I'm always happy to talk to everyone about the course, and I eventually catch up on all of my emails. So I'm pretty on top of it. But I do like to talk about the course with anyone who's interested at all, because part of manifesting the path to it is part of it.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. And we wish you the best of luck, and our nod to the stream.
Thank you, Kimberly.
You've been listening to Spiritual Biz Chat with Kimberly Maska. Inspiration for spiritual entrepreneurs. Hear our latest interviews and join our spiritual family at spiritualbizmagazine.com.